So, hi. I may make a bit of strange sounds now to just make it comfortable here. Oh my, sorry. This is not his mine. So, whatever. Oh my. I will try to. Yeah, I'll try to. Sorry. Now. How can anyone be here? Because this is private, but it's my sweet hacker. Hey, you can write a comment if you like. Anyways, what I want to do now, if you don't want like a card or something, I can bring a card. Hackers always need cards, I think. They think they're the smartest ever. So let's see. Voodoo cards, right? That's for you. I need to give you that beforehand. So let's see. Actually, I should give myself some of these cards, but and maybe this will be interrupted. I don't know even if I will upload this. I mean, publicly. Depends on what I read in the yogic book I try to learn. Okay, my cat is a little bit disturbing. I love her, but she's, yeah. Anyways, also another little person might call suddenly, so I have to mute and maybe end it quite quickly. Let's see now. So these are the tarot, the New Orleans. Yeah, I really like these cards. There are a few cards that I purchased and then I got rid of them and then I purchased them again. This is one of those decks, and the Thoth to the Tarot is one other. And there are a few that I wanted to buy again. The Symbolon, for example. I guess that's the only deck that there's like an oracle deck of sorts that I've missed since I got rid of it. It was like more than 20 years ago since I got rid of it. But anyways, the energy in the cards was like, they were like, and I felt like I was just done with exactly those cards. So I hope someone found them. I couldn't throw them away, so I just left them. So let's see. Anyway, for you, who is always around, whomever you are, or if you are a few, I don't know. Card for you here. This is drummer, overflowing one. Not too much hair. This is a bald person. Drumming. This is about water. This is a very loving person, actually. Overflowing with emotions also, but also very much healing and love around this one. Yeah. Maybe more hairy on the body than on the head. Anyways, yeah. I won't read in the book because this is not meant to be about you. It was meant to be about Kundalini. But you can transmit emotions through your drum beats, so you can kind of spread that around. But I think the purpose here seems to be for healing purposes. Actually, the energy around you, like as if it was the aura, you see, like is greenish, bluish, like in waves, and that seemed to indicate a healer of sorts, as well as you wear white pants, symbolizing also some purity of intent, I think. Interesting. The face seemed very stern, though, like maybe just concentrated, but almost as if angry, but the energy is not angry. The energy is very healing. Interesting. Who are you? Yeah, that's what I can see. There are other drums also around, but I think you spread you spread things. You reach others quite a lot. Your vibe or your words, they really like, when it drops in the ocean that spreads around, those kinds of things. This really does that. Yeah. And the age, I don't know. Actually, this is very, very difficult to say. This could be someone who is not bald but have a shave in their head, but it's like, it could be quite a young person also. This could be in the range of like 40 to 90 or something. It's good. You don't see them. They don't see him clearly. He's not very tall. Quite slim. Not like muscly, not like, but somewhat athletic, I think, in a way. Very strong focus, though. Yeah. Very concentrated on his mission, on what he wants to spread, kind of. Yeah. I guess this is like the main or maybe only focus, somewhat. This is very this is kind of the mission this person feels they have. I don't know, maybe other times something else is more important, but it seems like this is this person is kind of absorbed in this yeah. Okay, I will just leave it with that and hope I gave you something, whomever checked in. And if you don't recognize it with yourself, maybe it's for someone else. For someone else around you, probably then. It represents someone that you have around you. Or if not, then I don't know. But that then if I don't know, make it public. Maybe this is for that person somehow, whomever. But I think it's for you. I had a person even in mind, but never mind that. Okay, let's see now how far I can get. Maybe at least a chapter. I practice this every day now, and I really, really, really missed it before, and I also recognize how it makes me aware. It's very difficult to continue to eat in a not healthy way, or to not be aware when I pressure myself too far, or ignore emotions, or ignore stuff. Yeah, it's very difficult to do that while practice yoga every day. If you practice it in the sense of being aware, that you actually even comprehend or focus on what changes in the mind and the energy and emotions and so on, why after you do certain practices and so on. It really changes immediately almost. And then the difference is so huge sometimes from the mindset or the attitude that were right beforehand. So, I really realize how much I need this now. Wow. I didn't know that before. I knew I was longing for it somewhat, but also being too lazy in a way. Well, anyways, Kundalini Yoga, Awakening the Soul, Teachings of the Master, a lecture by Yogi Bhajan, 1969, a year before I was born. I have recognized with the blessing of my master that it is possible to be healthy, to be happy, and to be holy while living in this society. But you must have energy so that your dead computer may live and pass on the signal to you, and may compute all that you want to do in this society. Wow, this was interesting actually. But you must have energy so that your dead computer may live and pass on the signal to you and may compute all that you want to do in this society. We call this energy in the old scene Kundalini, in the old science, which has been blocked in Muladhara, the lowest of all chakras or lotuses. Yeah. These are imaginary things. Huge blocks have been written on them. Books. Gosh, it's actually now it's bright, but it's almost too bright, so I can't see because of that. Yeah, huge books have. It's not only imaginary things, but the images that with which you describe them is anyway. These books misled me too for many years. Oh, still I learned about them and about the chakras or circles, or we call them as we call them in English. Actually, in Munakiyas, I also practice the shamanic path. They are called eyes. I love that because you can actually see through them, or you can perceive, not like, yeah, you can actually see images also through each of the chakras. But oh wow, that's yeah, and also they're called wheels sometimes. These books have put us in so many circles that we do not come out of it, and we reach nowhere. Yet there is a way we can set our computer to be in direct contact with him, the biggest computer, and all things must then work automatically, like the Great Spirit, you could call it. That cannot work until the Kundalini, the spiritual nerve, breaks through the blockage of the Muladhara, travels up and reaches the stage that we may have, that you may have superconsciousness in consciousness. You must generate the pressure of the prana and mix it with the apana. You must generate the pressure of the prana, which is like life force, or when you breathe, the breath also, when you breathe, and mix it with the apana, which is the force that go downwards. Thus, when the two join together, you generate heat in the pranic center. With this heat of the prana, you put a pressure or change on the kundalini, the soul nerve, which is coiled in there, and the half circles of Muladhara. Coiled in 3.5 circles on Muladhara. Sorry how I read, actually. Kundal means the curl of the hair of the beloved. Wow, I've never heard this. So beautiful. It does not mean snake or serpent. Wow. Kundal means the curl of the hair of the beloved. Wow. This will awaken it so that it may pierce through the imaginary chakras and pass ultimately through Jalandhara Band, the necklock, the final blockage in the spine before the energy reaches the head. Wow. Kundal means the curl of the hair of the beloved. Wow, that's really a different image also, although it's very common about this coiled snake, because that can be scary maybe to some people to use the word of snake or the image of it, but as an image of energy, as with dragons, so that's kind of good one too. But this was very, very loving. The curl of the hair of the beloved. Oh my, how beautiful. So anyway, okay, yoga, the joining the two energies. Let me define a few terms. Prana is the life force of the atom. Let's see. Of the atom. Apana is elimination or the eliminating force, yeah, which then flows downwards in the body, for example. These are two forces in us, positive and negative, which are governed by Ida and Pingala, left and right. You know, this nostril breaths. Ida is the moon stream and Pingala is the sun stream. Ida is the left and Pingala the right. Okay. Oh, no way. The sounds in the kitchen just got more silent suddenly. Anyways, all right. When we join these two energies under the power and science of Kundalini Yoga, we mix the prana with the apana, and under the pressure, bring the Kundalini up. When it passes through the central nerve or Sushumna, it reaches the higher. Actually, it says Sushumna here. Oh, now it calls. Wait a second. Oh my, the lowest descriptions of things. Oh, patience. To myself. Now I need to breathe. Now I really need to breathe. You know. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Well, moving on now. Actually, I don't understand this because it's more bright here now. Now I'm irritated because I don't like when things are slow. I mean, describing things, although this was quicker than usual, but still in detail, you know, as it just is slow. I just wanted to be efficient and quickly said, and then, yeah, you know, right. But, anyways, this was quicker than usual, so I should just let it go. Wow. So, yeah, anyway, it's so bright out now, so it's very hard to see here indoors, although I have windows open and everything, which is weird. I mean, you should probably see it better, I feel, but it's like reflecting in the eyes somehow, so it's hard to read, but I will continue because I want to know what they say here. Yeah. And I have somewhat a little bit of cold, so my voice is a little lower, I think, maybe. Anyways, never mind. Now I just ramp around. Oh gosh, this really got me irritated. I have to drink some water. It's like as if you never do anything else. So never mind, never mind. I have to let go of that now. Right. Okay. Where was I now? Yeah. Joining of the two energies, but where? I will just read from here then. Probably, I don't know where I was. When we join these two energies under the power and science of Kundalini Yoga, we mix the prana with the apana, and under that pressure, bring the Kundalini up. When it passes through, evidently, through the central nerve or sush. Here it says Shushmuna. That was where I was. It is Sushumna, I think, but anyway. It reaches the higher chakras or lotuses, and thus one can know his total surroundings, and he is a blessed being. All right. In the witchy ways, we say blessed be, blessed, blessed being. I don't know. It's an old way of saying it, maybe. After one inhales the prana deep down to the navel center and pulls the apana with the root lock up to the navel center. Oh yeah, the that stream that norm naturally flows downwards if you pull that upward. All right. Prana and apana mix there. Okay, cool. This is known as the Nabi chakra at the fourth vertebra. I maybe don't pronounce each of these things right, but heat is felt during the Kundalini awakening, and the heat is the filament of the Sushumna, or central spinal channel, being lit by the joining of prana and apana. Below the Nabi chakra, the energy leaves the navel and goes to the lower chakra at the rectum, and then it rises. This is called the reserve channel. Then there are 6 more chakras through which the Kundalini must rise, and it will happen all at once. Once you have raised it, that's it. The hardest job is to keep it up, to keep the channels clean and clear. Yeah, actually, even now when I start to do it, I get really, really warm by just breathing techniques and whatnot. I just have to check one thing right now. What some cards I've had for today in the tarot group. Anyways, so yeah, I didn't know what it was, so I called the teacher I had. This was my first Kundalini teacher, and I was so very, very hot in my face and everything, and she said maybe it's like the blood circulation. I wasn't very used to exercising and such. And now I realized it was very much also the energy. And because I feel that, right? I mean, even if I just do breath work and stuff now, mainly, still this really, I mean, I get really heat sometimes in my body, which is awesome. But you need to kind of know what happens, because it's very strange otherwise. It feels strange or different. Like the 3 gateways, the pathway of energy, because that's what it does very much. It cleanses the nadis, it clears the path, which is also very important if you have like high blood pressure and so on. The pathway of energy from the rectum to the vocal cord is known as the silver cord. From the neck to the top of the head is the passage from the third eye to the pineal gland is the golden cord. Right. From the neck to the top of the head. Third eye is the golden cord. To make the energy rise in these cords and passage, you must apply hydraulic locks. You must put a pressure. You know how we take the oil out of the ground by putting a pressure so that the oil will come out. Like that, your spine is a staircase of energy. First, Mulband brings Apana to the navel or fourth vertebra, the central seat of the Kundalini. Second, the diaphragm lock takes it to the neck. Third, the neck lock takes it up the rest of the way. Wow. The pineal gland, or seat of the soul, does not work when the 10th gate at the top of the head is sealed, but when the pineal secretes as the Kundalini heat is released, your pituitary acts as a radar, keeping the mind from negativity. Wow, this is very interesting. The pineal gland, or seat of the soul, in the center of the head, does not work when the 10th gate at the top of the head is sealed, but when the pineal secretes as the Kundalini heat is released, your pituitary, I can't ever say that word, pituitary acts as a radar, keeping the mind from negativity. Yeah, well, this is very interesting. Yeah. When the pineal secretes as the Kundalini heat is released, your pituitary acts as a radar, keeping the mind from negativity. Yeah. And also that when you breathe and you hold the breath for a while, and you do these locks, that's like when you circulate this energy. I never heard it described like this before, though. In these like exact steps. I like to know things, so this is very interesting to me. Although I've done the practices and had this experiences, I really like to understand it. The 3 gateways. First, Mulad Band brings Apana to the navel, the central seat of the Kundalini. Second, the diaphragm lock takes it to the neck. Third, the neck lock takes it up the rest of the way. Wow. Also, the posture, even in many meditation practices and so on, helps that flow of energy. But yeah, probably some pressure is needed. Anyway, Kundalini, the nerve of the soul. Kundalini is known as the nerve of the soul. This is to be awakened. Your soul is to be awakened. When the soul gets awakened, what else can remain? In the practical reality, these chakras are imaginary and nothing else. This Kundalini is just a Kundalini and nothing else. It is not very important. I don't even understand that, but anyway. These pranas and apanas are just there. Yeah, that's true. They exist just without any awareness of their purpose. Everything is set in us. We lack nothing. We use these terms simply to make the process clear so that we can get on with it. It is very simple. After getting myself into the darkness for years, I found that I would have known on the first day that it was so easy. I could have saved myself a lot of hassle. When I found out that the Kundalini really can come up like this, I was astonished. It was a surprise for me. Wow, really cool to also hear the experience of that he have had. I never knew he shared about that much, so that's interesting. Whatever one thinks about him, I still feel like he's the one that shared this with us. So in the West, let's see the legacy of Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is also a legacy. A legacy means it comes as an inheritance, as something already existing and passed on to you. The legacy comes direct from infinity, direct from God, direct from the soul. It has been delivered by the golden chain through Guru Ram Das and Yogi Bhajan to you. Actually, I didn't know this, as I've mentioned before, but I've seen those two in a vision when I did yoga. This was at home. I've only seen him 2 times in a vision. One was at class with my first teacher, and then afterwards she played his voice when he spoke something on a recorded, like playing something. And the thing is, I mean, I didn't know she was going to do that. She never did that other times. So usually she had some awesome music and so, but never his voice. So when I saw this before, I just saw his face there, and then she turned on this voice of him. It was really weird. Anyway, so the other time was when I was at home practicing, and I think it was afterwards or like in the meditation or something. I saw both him and Ram Dass. That Ram Dass, not this more known, you know, on YouTube. Anyway, so, and their eyes were like looking into the dark heavens, like spaciousness. It's like Akash, I guess you could say, probably. And I can't describe what I saw, but both had the same eyes. They were, present there, sitting there, and it was awesome. But so I never, I just did those postures and certain meditations and so on. I never heard these descriptions, and so it's interesting that those were the two that I saw, actually. And when you do this tuning in and so on, you actually call on their, let's say, protection or teaching. Yeah, also actually protecting your energy meanwhile, and so it's like making him a holy circle. It's kind of that. Yeah. Anyway, and some people dismiss this now, that idea. Personally, I don't, because of my experience. I think this is actually great also, but I won't go into that discussion. I will just take the good things that I know and leave it at that. Others, let's say rumors or others' opinions or whatever, it's not mine. I don't have to even, I don't need to judge in that, since it's not even actually in a court judged. It was like some insurance company who said that it was likely that certain things had happened. But I mean, that's it. So I don't feel like, although read it, I don't feel like I can judge it, actually. I mean, I don't feel like I can discern from that. I don't know who those people are and what their intents are even, and nothing. So I will just continue to go with this that I know the experience of. All right. It has been delivered by the Golden Chain through Guru Ram Das and Yogi Bhajan to you. Wow. And as I said before, I thought they looked like a little bit disappointed when they looked at me. But I think I projected also because they were like, not empty in a bad way, but like just so vast. And you couldn't like, there was no reaction in that sense. But there was presence, awareness, but not judgment, I think. But in my mind, I wondered if they, I mean, it was like, oh gosh, is this the students we have now? What shall we do with this? This mess? I don't know, but maybe they didn't think that. Maybe they just B2B thing, Anyway, Kundalini yoga is the force of the soul. The Kundalini energy is the awakened inner identity of you. Wow, this is so beautiful. I fall in love with all of these words. Because of that, its very nature is timeless. Its very essence is like love. Deep in our heart, we know that no reason can explain love. Love comes full blown. It exists in a certain dimension of timelessness that we can all touch within us. Exactly in this way, Kundalini Yoga is a legacy of the infinite, of the Akal, of that which is timeless. It's a legacy of the love of the soul to experience identity. It is a product of what is infinite, though we view it and experience it in our own finite ways. Yeah. Kundalini Yoga comes to you as an inheritance, as something already existing. It is a legacy of the love of the soul to experience identity. Beautiful. When something begins already complete, it's an interesting experience to encounter it with finite eyes. It means if you search for structure, you can find as much structure as you would like. As you discover those structures, you might try to reconstruct them. This is very important because I tend to do so, and many do that right now because of those rumors or those whatever they try to dismiss what he taught, or the Sikh influence maybe, or so on, whatever. But anyways, we will see what it says here. I really like it as it come from the beginning when we actually wore white clothes and all that. After that, it's changed somewhat. People have changed it because they feel it's like I don't know, sectaristic, or I don't know. They want to take a stand against him, I guess. Anyway, as you discover those structures, you might try to reconstruct them. When you watch people in love, you may notice that they are kind to each other, that they are honest in their communications. So you pick out someone, you become kind and you act honestly, and you think, there I've created love. Yet you don't so much create love as participate in love, which has been created in the timeless infinity of God's heart. Just so you can look at any one Kriya, in Kundalini Yoga, and you can find that there is a sequence, a stimulation of chakras. There is an elegant intertwining of all the tattvas. There is also a clear and scientific focus on the stimulation of practical glands and meridians. And yet, no matter how much you may try to divide this legacy given as a gift, as a kiss, as a love from your infinity into meridians and chakras and glands and sequences of muscles, you can never recapture that which has already been given. In Kundalini Yoga, there is nothing for the ego to reconstruct, but lots for the ego to enjoy. Yeah, I think, this is what people do now, really try to, I don't know. But anyways, in Kundalini Yoga, there is nothing for the ego to reconstruct. There's lots for the ego to enjoy, to represent, and to communicate. To be a great teacher of Kundalini Yoga, accept this as a legacy. You accept this as a hug of the infinite, as a kind of love, as an opportunity that has come to your soul to experience, to give to others, and to pass on. It's something to pass on as complete as when it was given to you. This is like, I think, what I saw also. I saw the infinite in them. Yeah, that's the word, actually, in their eyes. I like to think of it as an infinite set of Chinese boxes. While we have time in our physical bodies and ego, we can enjoy it. We unwrap one box and another box and another box. Whenever we are done, there is an infinite sequence, more boxes within boxes that we will never get to. We just pass that on. We continue the golden chain. The legacy is an infinite exploration, a constant discovery, a continuous newness that each person will experience and bring to the world. I'm not trying to dismiss those who protest or so on. I just try to figure my own attitude to this. And I think the experiences I have had about being, you know, I won't continue to tell those stories, but I still think they have given me another perspective. I know how it is to be the one where lies, I don't say this must be, but in my case anyways, where lies are projected onto someone and also prepared, like it's like a setup, let's say, for others to buy into them and to have their opinions and dismiss you or whatever, judge actually. And from that perspective, I feel even stronger that I don't want to have that position to others. It's not easy not to have. But in this instance, I do have my own experiences. And to me, they are strong and that they are kind of enough, as well as I actually cannot take a stand. It's not my place to do. Others have their words, their responsibility for where they stand and what they feel about things. And I can understand the wish to always stand on the weaker side. I mean, if you feel that someone have suffered or that are subjected to some injustice and so on, you kind of want to stand on their side. But sometimes that's not. We don't know what others' aims are. Is it like bitterness, insecurity, need for fame? Even the ego have many faces. They can seem very valid or serious. I mean, like truth worthy, or what is the word? Anyways, also need of money, any kind of motivations can be there, as well as what I've spoken about before. I mean this just generally, not in this situation exactly. I just mean it generally, that even when something this powerful is out there, this strongly healing, that of course there are forces that does not want this. There is the medical industry, there are many who would lose on this being put forth. I mean, because this is so very healing and helpful. So I mean, there must be some pretty strong forces against it, I think, that would like for it to be is bash the word. I mean, to be like seen as if it's something negative or bad, or try to take the focus away from the good of it, and so because they lose something if it continues to grow and help others. Like, that's my thoughts. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, moving on here. Yeah. In Kundalini Yoga, as I said here, I don't know yeah. I will continue to read it. I don't know, maybe I read this already, but I do it again. In Kundalini Yoga, there is nothing for the ego to reconstruct, and there is lots for the ego to enjoy, to represent, and to communicate. Yeah, right. To be a great teacher of Kundalini Yoga, accept this as a legacy. You accept this as a hug of the infinite, as a kind of love, as an opportunity that has come to your soul to experience, to give to others, and to pass on. It's something to pass on as complete as when it was given to you. I like to think of it as an infinite set of Chinese boxes. While we have time in our physical bodies and ego, we can enjoy it. We unwrap one box and another box and another box. Whenever we are done, there is an infinite sequence, more of boxes within boxes that we will never get to. We just pass that on. We continue the golden chain. The legacy is an infinite exploration, a constant discovery, a continuous newness that each person will experience and bring to the world. Yeah. Wow, this is so interesting. It's also not very easy to understand exactly what it means, because since it changes now from what is given, then what is given now is that the other, but it's the same in the sequences. Like, I mean, if you look at Chinese, like those, at least those dolls, let's say, and so. But maybe also the changes that comes is like, I don't know. Okay, we will keep reading. Let's see. The lineage of Kundalini Yoga. The third thing to remember as teacher of Kundalini Yoga is that it's also has a lineage. It is a practice that has been experienced and given through enlightened souls for many thousands of years. Yeah, therefore also I wonder sometimes, especially when people that I know of who I know lovely and loving Kundalini Yoga teachers that are so full of heart. Like, I mean, as well as I know a few that are pretty, can you say, dense. I'm not, I don't I don't try to judge them. I just know that their behaviors are like mean and like, very, very, in that sense, low and jealous. That's like, they try to put other people down, and yeah, many things like that are not very evolved as a human being. So yeah, those, and also maybe just concentrated on money, or that is like greedy, or I mean, sometimes things take over, and just that's the thing that are so obvious with those people, because they show it very obviously as well. But yeah, so or the whole way that others see it, that the perception others have of you is like the status it gives you. Like, that's like the important thing. You can see that sometimes, that this kind of very, very much outshadow the whole spiritual practice of this. And what was I going to say? Yeah. Then I feel like when those people come and change it, I don't know. I just feel that then I'll probably go to the core of this anyways. We all are human beings and have our ways and quirks. I mean, certainly I do. I'm not saying anything else, but yeah. Anyway, it is a royal yoga, one that is not intended to be done by only those who are ascetics and withdrawn from the world. It requires a mastery of both the inner dimension of the self and the outer expression in the universe. Yeah. It is that balance between the inner and the outer, between the neutral, interior infinity and the active and serviceful exterior that is the signature of Kundalini Yoga. That's very beautiful. That's why even in the early days, Kundalini Yoga was often given through the line of kings. King Janaka in the ancient scriptures was an early Raj yogi. Yeah. This yogi tradition was passed on through that lineage to Guru Ram Das in the lineage of the gurus of the Sikhs. Yeah, I want to practice this because that's who I've seen sharing it or giving it forward to me. Yeah, I didn't even know he was from that tradition of the Sikhs until right now. Guru Ram Das was acknowledged as having the high throne of Raj Yoga, the Takat, and to passing that blessing to all who would come. Yeah, that's what I want to do with this as well. Yeah. Yogi Bhajan acknowledged his teacher as Guru Ram Das, and we serve that house. Each of us links to this lineage through a golden chain, just as a touch passes on a fire to the next fire. So when we tune in with the Adi mantra, oh, I love that mantra. Adi Shakti, I guess it is like, we link with this long lineage and you become just as a facet of water, a great source to quench the thirst of the soul of the people. Yeah, this is my favorite one. I just think it's so powerful. It is actually a transmission, and you as a teacher of that are beholden to the integrity of it. Yeah. And many don't do that anymore. But personally I want to. It is actually a transmission, and you, as a teacher of that, are beholden to the integrity of it. Many just stopped, just went on to other forms of yoga and so on instead, and avoided kind of whole conflict, and some change it and dismiss this golden chain. I guess there are certain who continue to practice it as such, but some come to go and try by any means to get students. Kundalini Yoga is not, what does that mean? Some come to go. I don't know what that means. Kundalini Yoga is not a commercial enterprise in that way. No, right? It's true that you can do business with it. You can set it up as a profession, and indeed you should have all the organization and management skills that you can bring to your practice style. But in the end, Kundalini Yoga is actually a transmission. That's what I felt. It has a lineage of transmission, and you as a teacher of that are beholden to the integrity of it and to its long history. It is good for you to understand that history and to look to the future as you serve each individual now. Yes, there are some things when it comes to the shamanic practices and some other things, that I just never want to charge for. I guess if you need some place to practice this in the winter time anyways, you need to be able to charge for that. But aside from that, I wish this was given to everyone who wants it anyway, no matter economics or whatever. In the lineage, you're guided by the unseen hand of Guru Ram Das and by the explicit teachings and formulations codified by Yogi Bhajan. When you pass the tradition on with authenticity and with accuracy, Each person can continue to pass it on, to experience it in his or her own unique way and give it to the future. You need to practice relentlessly the qualities of humility. Wow. Yeah, maybe. Patience, discipline, and service. I think those two first are hardest, probably patience. Um, but yeah, humility is a really good thing. It doesn't mean to be like humiliated, you know. Sometimes I've taken that one too far, and also then the pendulum swing to the other direction when you get like rather cocky. Also, the witchy things have given me that in a good way. Um, because I think if you mean well, if that is like your go-to position, then the humility is like there no matter what you do. I think that's a practice only needed when you are out of touch with the with the wishing well, you know, the love for both yourself and others. Yeah. And as lineage, we have certain ethics and a certain look, a certain radiance, a certain akal murat. Let's see now. As lineage, we have a certain ethics and a certain look, a certain radiance, a certain akal murat, a certain embodiment of infinity, and people who truly practice Kundalini yoga are often recognized by that light. I think that I will. Now I'm just in the beginning stages of actually studying this, aside from practiced it before. So, but I really feel that I want to practice it the way I experienced it from the beginning with the white clothes. It gave some peace, and also I really believe that it is useful. I don't know, I haven't read about that, but it's useful that it reflects away. Also, maybe the turban, because it really protects your crown chakra. But you know, the this white clothes really have a protective purpose as well as medical staff and so on wear that to not pick up all the energies around. It's not like they know that that's why, but you know, that's it reflects. White reflects back, so you don't absorb as black does, for example. So I feel that is I will just continue. Maybe this will be difficult for me to follow. I don't know what they are. The humility. Well, yeah, I think in my own ways, yeah. The patience, well, the more I practice, I guess that also will be better. Anyways, understanding Kundalini Yoga. The best way to understand Kundalini Yoga is that it gives us the power and the leverage, has a legacy to it, and is part of a long lineage that is using these techniques for the opening of the Aquarian age and for the future peace and expansion of human consciousness. A way to understand Kundalini Yoga is on its own terms. At the root of Kundalini Yoga is the experience of Shabd Guru Kundalini. When it awakens, it's often called Shabu Brahm, which means that the words are the vibratory creative aspect of the infinite soul in experience. The Mool Mantra expresses the character, depth, and understanding that we can see in Kundalini Yoga. I like that one too. We see the emanation of that when we vibrate the Mool Mantra. Guru Nanak spoke the Mool Mantra, Ek Onkar Satnam Karta Purk Nirbo Nirvar Akal Murit Ajuni Sabung Gurprasad Jap Ad Such Yugad Such Habi Such Nanak Hosi Beach Such. Yeah, I love that. That's so very beautiful. Although they say it like, I don't know how this song is like. I try to wonder. I mean, I try to remember. I mean, Ekonkar Satnam Kartapurk. I mean, there is a song, I don't remember it now. Ajani Saibung Kurprasad Ad such Yuga such Happy such Nana Kosi be such. Very beautiful though. I mean, it's really the vibes of these words really influence me, anyways. This mantra is the very root of all creativity. The mantra expresses the character, the depth, and the understanding that we can see in Kundalini Yoga. Ekonkar, Kundalini Yoga has a oneness, a completeness, and a connectedness between each exercise throughout each Kriya. It comes as a complete package, a revelation all at once. Satnam, it has the reality a seed. Every time you do one Kriya, it has its own touch and dimension to it, and it creates a reality, a vibration which has consequences and will be honored unto infinity. Actually, I just realized that I changed things. I mean, as a psychic, also, I see sometimes I also see I've heard, let's say, mantras that I need for a while or something, or even positions of the hands and so on. So I guess I pick up that kind of information to myself. Anyway, moving on. Karta Purk is a discipline which is already being done by the larger being. It is already a creativity of that which is timelessly creative. It is not a construct made by you and me. Our doing it is doing it is a form of participation. It is an act of collaborative intelligence between me and the infinite self. When you experience Kundalini, when you act as a Kundalini yoga teacher, and when you join a part of the that lineage and legacy, you acquire the leverage and legacy of Kundalini yoga. There is no time spent in fear, in wondering whether you're right or you're wrong, or in comparing yourself to others. You instead accept your own identity and proceed with what's in front of you. Beautiful. Nirbo, is that Nirbo? Yeah. Nirbo Nirvar. Neither is there any revenge, nor blame, nor competition in the sense of trying to overcome some other teacher or some other teaching. Yeah. It is an act of humility and grace because you're given this opportunity. Oh, this was a good explanation of this whole humility. Or I mean, humility. Nirbo Nirvar. Neither is there any revenge, nor blame, nor competition in the sense of trying to overcome some other teacher or some other teaching. It's an act of humility and grace because you're given this opportunity. In that way, it's not difficult. No competition in the sense of trying to overcome some other teacher or some other teaching. It is an act of humility and grace because you're given this opportunity. Akal Murat means that in the floodlight brilliance of the Kundalini, you take on and accept your own image from the perspective of the infinite. Wow. This is why we cover our heads as we accept through the seventh chakra the pranic flow of the subtle energies that Kundalini releases. As a teacher, when we teach, although there is no limitation from the finite perspective, there is an opportunity to create an image, a bana, a structure, a certain impression with all of our senses. That is Akal Murat. Interesting. I want to try to understand this now. Akal Murat means that in the floodlight brilliance of the Kundalini, you take on and accept your own image from the perspective of the infinite. That's why they have those in Sikh tradition as well. Those on the head. That is why we cover our heads as we accept through the seventh chakra the pranic flow of the subtle energies that Kundalini releases. Oh, that's like, it's so beautiful because that's kind of, I wouldn't say that it's the opposite of humility, but it's like really being the universe, really being it all. So, that's what you accept. It's not like following anyone else's I mean, if we are it, if we are the universe, if we are God, let's say, why? I mean, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying now, but we accept our own image from the perspective of the infinite. By the way, my name is my name, my yogic name is Tejpal Kaur, which means the a princess lioness, lover of God. It's the name I got from the H3O. Yeah. Anyways, many years ago, this was like, I don't know, 22 years ago or something. And anyways, oh, this is so beautiful. Really, this is so beautiful. That is why we cover our heads as we accept through the seventh chakra the pranic flow of the subtle energies that Kundalini releases. I just want to do this now. Oh, yeah. Ajuni, since Kundalini Yoga is unborn, it doesn't come from any one particular time and it's not subject to the laws of those times. Saibung, this is its own integrity. It has its own inner completeness. It's one of the reasons that as you do each set, which you've been fortunate to receive through Yogi Bhajan's clarity, you don't try to alter it or make it up. Wow, since I'm such a person to alter things, man. Each Kriya is complete in itself, autonomous. Each Kriya doesn't rely on anything else. In its own form, it is under the constant blessing and guidance of the infinite, Gur Prasad. And you jap, you repeat it again and again. Oh, is that jap? Right. They used to like make that when in the songs like jap. They not shout it, but they say it very quickly. Almost like a not a hit, but like yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Kundalini yoga never gets old. The more you do it, the more the polish makes the gem shine. And what it is and what is it that it gives each and every person? Add such, Jugad such, Hai be such, Nana Kosi be such. It gives you the experience of constant truth of your own reality and soul. Wow, this is so beautiful. The Mool Mantra is very much the essence of the qualities, the nature, the character, and the depth of Kundalini Yoga. As a teacher of that, practice the Mool Mantra. Remember the character that you're sharing with others. You never reduce it. You always exalt it, and it will exalt you. Always bow to its beauty, it will bow to you. Always support each person who comes to you by sharing directly and earnestly, no fearlessly, the clarity and the power of the leverage of Kundalini Yoga. The entire universe will help you and leverage you to experience your own soul in the service of others. Yeah, that's what you do also always when you meet others, the reflections. So that's why no use to be bitter or angry at those who, for example, never get to the point, as kind of is very much my. Although that actually was an efficient phone call that I got, but I mean, obviously it's a reflection of me. You hear how I talk. So, anyways, that's the same thing with everyone we meet as well. But it can be in good ways. But if we get irritated, it triggers something, yeah. Anyways, questions and doubts answers with the master. Teachings of the master from 1976 interview with Yogi Bhajan. Question. Oh, sorry, bumped into it. I have heard people say that Kundalini Yoga is a dangerous form of yoga. Answer. This talk of danger sometimes becomes the biggest danger and a big problem, even now around all this goes on. The only danger is when you use something external and artificial, like a drug, and force it into you. Think of Kundalini in a different way. In reality, there is a God. He uncoils himself, opens himself up. This uncoiling process or manifestation process is known as Kundalini. What can be dangerous about it? The Kundalini that is going to be uncoiled in you is already in you and part of you. It is an unlimited power that is the essence of your consciousness. It is going to uncoil in you. Your system is already built to contain the energy of Kundalini. It is a normal capacity that you simply are not utilizing. If you start utilizing that energy, where is the danger? Beautifully answered. Question. You seem to be unique among the yogis. I have heard, the yogis I have heard, most of them will not teach without initiation. Very few say anything openly about Kundalini, and most are very cautious about it. Answer. There are certain things in my life which I can't eliminate or overcome. They are in my destiny and deep in my character. I came to this country to teach this sacred and secret science because I was called to do it. I never came to this country out of my own choice or desire. I came to serve and to deliver a message. I had no means to reach all the people who have come to know me. People have come to me from everywhere around the globe. With all my success and recognition, I have never thought or intellectualized for even one moment that I did it. Those souls who have the destiny to come and learn from me will do it. They are already in the body and will find their way to these teachings. I already have all the knowledge which I am to share with them. I am just a postman delivering their letters from the cosmos. When my mail bag is empty, I can quit. The job is done and my duty fulfilled. I teach openly and honestly to all who come. Oh, sorry, I bumped this again. This is very messy. Oh, I just tried to read it still. Oh, okay. Still, it said like if you, from his tradition, and he actually broke not the chain, but some ideas about not spreading it. That it would be dangerous, but he didn't really care about that then. So when I went back to India, where I lived for 39 years, the one question everybody asked was, "What are you doing in the United States? Why are you teaching them those techniques and meditations?" All my friends were upset. They did not believe Westerners, particularly Americans, were suited to the inner knowledge and discipline of yoga. When I told them Americans have the potential to experience the infinite, they said, "Oh, no, no. What has gone wrong with you? Do you not understand the way things have been?" When they started questioning me, I withdrew and said, "I've heard what you say, but it is in my destiny. I am happy with my guru, so what do I care about this criticism? I must teach the truth as it is." So beautiful. I need to take that on, I guess. All these yogis love me, but they feel very uncomfortable with me. They love me because as a master of Kundalini Yoga, it is difficult to hate me and the awareness that I bring. It takes a lot of strength and ego to hate me. Since I came to the West, the 3HO family, Students of Kundalini Yoga, has grown to a very powerful organization of people around the world. We have thousands of people who practice the techniques and enjoy the elevated awareness it brings. Near most large cities, there is a yoga ashram or teacher nearby. Near most large cities, yeah. It is difficult to define somebody who inspires that kind of following and who has that kind of personality. T-Fame, all right, yeah. Somebody who has, but they could after his death, though. Why is Kundalini Yoga put down? Why? What is the root of the distrust and warning? It is done either out of ignorance or simply because a reaction with jealousy or fear that I, with my personal style and charisma, teach it. I teach it without hesitation or discrimination. I seek nothing other than to do my duty. And that's so beautiful too, because there are kind of also, I mean, there are certain discriminations going on. I mean, like as a yogi, you should be this and that or behaving this. I mean, like, yeah, in a judgmental way that exists very much. So, like in every other situation, I guess, if you don't fit into the exact whatever you think of a person, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. I don't have to add to his words here. And there is another side to this that is historical and cultural, which you will not understand. Kundalini Yoga has never been taught publicly before. Many yogis have a sense of national and racial loyalty. They feel the knowledge should be guarded and given only to people of a certain class or group. They feel this great sovereign circuit of Kundalini Yoga is supposed to be learned only by highly select Brahmins of the upper class. They will only teach you those techniques which make you disciples instead of masters. Yeah, that's also interesting. Historically, India was conquered by the British, who were Christians. The result was that the lower classes and the working classes in India were converted to Christianity. Traditionally, in India, this class of people was called untouchable. They were considered undeserving and incapable of learning the knowledge that could elevate their awareness and give them extraordinary ability. The majority of Christians came from that untouchable class. Even now, in the minds and hearts of many of the swamis and yogis who come to the West, a Christian is still untouchable and must be not be taught certain things. Interesting. While it's the opposite around from here. I mean, I know pretty many Christians, actually, many, but a few that are really, really afraid of yoga, for example. All kinds of yoga. It's like devilish, or I don't know. It's very interesting how these clashes can be. But anyways, I also thought about the fact that with my both experience, personality, and the things that I practiced before and love and so on, I'm just the person I am, I guess. Also, there are many who really, many, but not many, but a few that I met, anyways, that I see. I really experience how they are disturbed that I have those qualities and these abilities that I have as a psychic medium and all those things. It it messes with their idea of how one should be then, or what persons that should be given these gifts. Or I have also trained them to some degree. I mean, being very interested in it and also needed to develop them as a survival as well. These have been many things, as well as I was born with lots of it also. But I mean, I see the confusion in certain people's minds when they may not access it. Also because I mean, some things you just need to receive, be recipient of, and then you need to relax and receive it. You can't like with willpower grab it, catch it, So so that's sometimes just there, the block is, and also the whole status thing and all that. If you have a lot of that, that would block certain things. But I see how they want to have it, but still they look in a degrading way at me as a person, somewhat. That's interesting. Uh, I guess this is similar though, in some way or another. Not totally, but I can see, I can relate to some of it. Now they say this Yogi Bhajan somehow has gotten hold of all the knowledge which even they do not know, and he has freaked out. He gives it to every American and Westerner without discrimination. He ignores the old warnings that were written to prevent the untouchables from experiencing their own inner power and potential. He will upset everything. They believe it is very dangerous. They are right. It is dangerous culturally to the past they live in. Yeah, this is to live in the future. And also, it was told that if you taught it to someone else, you would like die before your next birthday or something like that, which he didn't apparently. But yeah, he got his share of. I mean, even from this side, it could be people who wish to defame him. Yeah. A student of Kundalini, a student of Kundalini Yoga, as a student of Kundalini Yoga, you may hear or read something which is said out of ignorance or jealousy, but there is no need to answer or to defend. This is really also very good right now, as I do though, but as a student, you may hear or read something which is said out of ignorance or jealousy, but there is no need to answer or to defend, or whatever reasons. Anyways, I don't need to answer or defend. I will have to tell that to myself over and over again, I guess. In the end, the results from the sincere students who cultivate awareness will be the answer to those old prejudices and ignorance. You just remember that when you uncoil the Kundalini, it is the same as the natural awakening of our potential. Yeah, and that is, I mean, why shouldn't we do that in all ways? I mean, there are other paths that I see also uncoil it very much and quickly, but yeah, I mean, that's what it is. That's the purpose. Or what you call Christ consciousness. It means you bring that awareness actively into your life. And yeah, I mean, I don't know who said that, but what we fear is not our smallness, it's our greatness. That's so very true. So, and others fear also others' greatness if they fear their own. Question. I practice Kundalini Yoga as you have taught it, and I feel great. My life has changed, and I have had a lot of success. My question is, why does that work? I don't always plan everything. Things just seem to flow better. Answer. The world and our journey is in this life is actually very clear. Every aspect of it is organized and creative. We are all human beings on this planet. We are supposed to live with each other in love, work as a worship. Wow, worship. No, but worship. Work as a worship. Wow. This is so beautiful. I feel like the things I love to do, and then I do that. I do that. Many don't. I mean, not in this case exactly, those who do the same line of work as I, but many I hear have different kinds of works where they really struggle and don't live in passion for it, let's say. And follow the path of righteousness. The goad, is that a word? Goad. Oh, to goad our consciousness across the cycle of time to use our human energy to reach and manifest infinity. Why has this world become a puzzle to us? The confusion occurs when sometimes, in spite of our well-equipped personality and our best preparations, we do not thrive and we do not understand why. There is a way to make sense out of this. We may understand this intuitively, but it takes a little time to explain it systematically and technically. Imagine an ordinary man who is a grade B medical student. He graduates and gets a great opportunity. He rises above everything to the top of his business. Imagine another man who is a very brilliant student at college. He graduates, and regardless of great efforts, he never seems to get the right opportunities, and he establishes an average clinic and career. What makes the real difference in these cases? Why do we often not fit into life and into our own plans when it seems as if we have everything we need to accomplish it? The center of this confusion in human life today comes from one widespread, very human problem. You do not understand who and what you are. Yeah, that's so freaking true. This is so great. I mean, oh, this is awesome. That's the only reason. Yeah. Then you cannot understand how things work and how to progress. Each thing has its own nature and its own mechanism. Understanding who you are, your own nature, and the relationship between things will make it all very clear. There will be no place for doubt or confusion. This is the source of unhappiness and conflict in this world. Feeling, judgment, and action that are not based on this type of clear understanding will always misguide you. So, just what type of consciousness are you? Wow, that differs. No, I kind of start to know it. Yeah. What base makes sense of your confusion? Wow. So, just what type of consciousness? Sorry, I should ask that when I meet people or you here online. So, just what type of consciousness are you? Uh, what base makes sense of your confusion? The yogis have a symbol for the human being, an arc of light that we call an aura. It is brilliant and white. Human existence depends on that arc. What comes to you in your life depends on the strength and balance of that arc. And this is one of the greatest things Kundalini Yoga ever did for me, strengthen that, because I had a very, very messed up aura. I mean, holes in it and all kinds of things, because I've exposed myself or others, yeah, mistreating or, yeah, other kinds of things. And I was sensitive to electricity, all kinds of things. And yeah, it was really bad. But through Kundalini Yoga, it's really changed everything. Yeah, the aura was healed and strengthened. So most people can see it and don't understand it. Can't see it. Most people can't see it and don't understand. They could see it a long time ago, but I didn't understand it. So it was so disturbing to see it every time and see how it changes the colors and everything when you talk to someone or anything, and don't understand why. It was just more information that was very like straining to absorb and process. You still saw it, so it was something else to pick up. It was disturbing. So I trained myself not to see it, and then I got into more problems, I guess, than I would have had if I learned to understand it instead, or kept seeing it, because I would have learned after a while what they meant when they shift. There were certain things I could understand, but yeah, anyways, I did that. But now it's good to see. I mean, I don't see it continuously, but I can see it when I want to. So also for a while I thought it was sneak peeking into someone's soul, that it was not like allowed. If they didn't ask me to see their aura, I shouldn't check, sort of. But now I feel that's not right. I mean, it's one thing to curiously. I wouldn't have the energy or time to do that, but to like dive into someone's personal private space, I wouldn't do that. But to see the aura would be helpful. I mean, then I would get into less messy situations. Yeah. Anyways, it's a protection as well, very much, to see that. What comes to you in your life depends on the strength and balance of that arc. Most people can't see it and don't understand it. If you do see the aura, you can recognize the state of health and disease, the kind of intensity of emotion, and the capacity and abilities of a person. Yeah, it's really good, not even for only for yourself, but for the other person, that you do see it. It helps you to treat them in the best way, or even communicate in a way that is best for them, and you can avoid hurting with unintendingly when you actually you can actually see the reactions. You can pick up and feel people's reactions anyway sometimes, but I mean oftentimes, but still this really makes it easier. Yeah, so I should train myself to actually be more aware of that. Maybe not all the time, but now I understand it better also. So every human being is unique. I mean, I think I can only just decide to see it all the time, and then I would. But then again, I pick up so much already all the time, so I don't know. We will see if I just choose to keep it as it is, so I can pick it up when I want to or not. I don't think it's uncomfortable. It's rather beautiful, shining world with everything shining. I mean, I see the life force shining around in all these brilliant colors. And now I live where I live. The light that comes in every day always touches everything almost with the rainbow colors. It's like the glass on the balcony or the bridge. What do you say, bridges or the? I don't know. It makes it rainbow colored when it shines in. That's so beautiful. It's like everywhere all day long here. Anyways, maybe that's a sign. Every human being is unique. That uniqueness is defined and protected by the arc line. Every energy in existence has its own cycle of input, output, and exchange. That existence must interact with you through the shield of the arc aura. Every magnetic field has to cross this magnetic field of your arc line. Yeah. It is the strength of the magnetic field of your arc line that determines how the magnetic fields of the other things and people in existence can or cannot enter and affect you. Yeah, both that and also, I mean, I love to be open. People have told me many times, I mean, even my mentor in the mediumship practices gave me like some exercises about strengthening this protective field, especially when doing certain work, so I don't pick up too much energy, you know, or stuff. But I then didn't really want to, because I love to be so open. So that's another thing I've learned, that this is a really good thing to not always be like indiscriminately like that. But yeah, and also when it comes to the shamanic work, being as a magnet kind of, that's why you often work one-on-one with people, as well as your intent or your focus on the healthy, that is what pulls all energies into the health. If your energy, that's a danger kind of with having that strength, if you say, because you can also manifest as strongly in a negative way if you focus on in that way. So it's more important, the more evolved or the more strengthened this is, it's more important to keep it on the positives. Yeah, let's say, if you got that in shamanic practice, it's called the light and the heavy rather. But okay. I know I repeat myself. You've heard this before, you have been here before, but I like to do that apparently. Now a question arises. If there is a positive opportunity or vibration, will this arc of light select it so it won't enter? No. That positive energy will emerge in it and will relate to the earth. If it is negative, it will be cancelled out at the arc line. Yeah, beautiful. Any person whose mental vibration results in a strong arc will protect all fragile areas of his life automatically with that arc. You relate differently to emotions when your magnetic field is strong and when it is weak. Yeah. When your field is weak, emotions seem so important and real that you cannot separate or direct them. You are subject to them. When your arc is strong, you can choose to express the emotion or to redirect it. You can choose to relate to someone or to disconnect from their influence. When your radiance is strong and you direct it towards someone, they will want to talk to you and be around you in spite of great personality differences or obstacles. Kundalini Yoga is the science of changing and strengthening your radiance to give you an expanded life and greater capacity. Yeah. When a person has the energy and power through his psyche to focus on things or not, then he has nothing to worry about. Yeah, true. The projection of the magnetic field will arrange the radiance of his existence. True. All the surrounding magnetic fields that will make up the environment and opportunities will be organized to connect and fit with each other. The environment will operate in tune with its purpose. This sounds so magical, but it's absolutely my experience as well. Although last night I watched these hackers series. They were like purposely showing whatever. Very interesting, but also I watched this kind of whatever collapse of the society, also sort of made up scenarios where very interesting, but but I mean, yeah, then I have to kind of check myself, like, right, is this really, really, really good to emphasize, or is it good for me to delve too deep into these, um, uh, you know, themes, let's say. Also, it triggers certain memories and certain ideas. I mean, thoughts about what have been in the past and how to make sense of certain things and understand. And I don't know if that's really healthy, and I kind of know that it's not. It's better that I don't. But then again, I'm a curious personality, so I can maybe balance it out with these practices. The same mechanism can be expressed in the mystical language of the spirit. Yeah, the person who experiences this through faith would say, when the divine source that prevails through the human being projects the light of God, all darkness goes away. Wherever that person goes, there shall be light, beauty, bounty, and fulfillment. These two explanations express the same language, but one is in mystical language, the other technical language. What? Yeah. Kundalini Yoga is the science of changing and strengthening, as I said. Wow. Wow. Oh, my goodness. You. No, but gosh, I couldn't do this longer. You are radiant to give you an expanded life in greater capacity. I'll give you an example of understanding human behavior with these two languages. Whenever the individual consciousness, while radiating, feels a cut or dip in some area of radiance, the connection that could be made by that radiance will not be completed. Oh, when there is a cut or a depression in the arc, you cannot radiate correctly. The cycle of energy, projection, connection, reception cannot complete itself. There will not be a creative action, success, or opportunity. What is a cut? A cut is a splitting or division of your radiant energy in the arc of the aura. It's like also soul loss and so on. When you lose your part of your energy. Yeah. Question. Since my radiance is so important, I want to know what things create the cuts in the arc line. Answer. Whenever your intellect, the giver of thoughts, does not correspond to your established behavior, you create a problem. We all develop habitual behaviors and attitudes which record the pattern of consciousness. These patterns hold and stabilize our personality. A Hindu, for example, cannot eat meat because in his consciousness he feels it is a sin. A Muslim cannot eat pork because in his consciousness he feels it is a sin. Consciousness forms patterns of flow. Once you fix the pattern, you cannot radiate. Some people cannot face you and look into your eyes as they talk. What is wrong? Nothing. A pattern of flow was set and challenged. There was a duality and uncertainty. A combination of social environments and the inner emotional and cognitive environments form that pattern, the patterns. Conflicts in those patterns with your actions from cavities in the aura. Conflicts in those patterns with your actions form cavities in the aura. A cavity in consciousness is a duality. Mystically and scientifically, immediately or eventually. Every radiation that helps people must provide some way to deal with this duality and to increase the human radiance. Yeah, it's complementary rather and needed for the other one around, like in law of attraction or mirroring things. It's the other side of the coin, just useful. Hmm. Uh-huh. The produce no, the procedure is to go and confess the sin to a minister. What happens when you confess? You pour your feelings out, and it tells you that you are forgiven. You have a set pattern of belief in him and as an agent of the spirit. You feel you can believe in him and in what he says. He helps you to bring your mental projections back into collaboration through the behavior of confession, which is a set behavior that is deeper and more established than the conflict itself. Yeah, because what you really need to do at the end of the day, so to speak, is forgive yourself and everyone else, of course. But eventually, you need to give yourself absolution. Otherwise, you haven't understood who you are fully. Whenever something bothers you, there is only one way to get out of it. You need a touchstone or a teacher. You need a teaching or a person who will not betray your faith and who will counsel you to return to the path of righteousness. In technical language, he should adjust the flow of the psyche to be in tune with the surrounding magnetic field. In mystic or spiritual language, we say that the same thing this way. A person who has committed a sin comes and confesses in the house of the Lord. The Lord accepts the prayers and blesses him to the light. He can again live with inner guidance in the bountiful world. Two explanations are exactly the same. The two explanations are exactly the same. Yeah, and also other ways of describing it, of course. And at some stage in the process, you need someone else to confirm that because you wouldn't be able to find it within and understand that you have the the ability yourself. But anyway, in the modern world, when there is a problem or conflict, people go to a psychiatrist or counselor who drinks a lot of coffee and has the patience to listen to them and to make them talk. The counselor uses his experience and skill to find a way to tell them that they can work out the whole problem from inside. Mhm. This is done cautiously and systematically so the client feel they have the resources to do what is asked, which we always have. The professional, well, not always know that we have it. The professional fee of a couple of $1,000s makes the client alert and receptive to the idea that he has to stop, change, and solve his problem from within his own self. He will not be rescued, but he will be guided to put in his effort and face the challenge. That's also a thing with it when it comes to the whole money and all that exchange. Some people cannot really appreciate what they are given if they cannot charge, and some cannot appreciate it unless they have to charge quite a lot, which is interesting. It's the same value, obviously, but yeah. But that's the truth. You become more alert or appreciative sometimes when you have to pay for something. What really motivates you to change? It is not the psychiatrist. It is not the priest. It's in the church. It is your realization and acceptance of your subconscious set behaviors and the urge to look back to your basic origin and start understanding that you are the creative source and nucleus of the whole vibratory pattern in which you live. Yeah, you are the creative source. Hmm. The moment you understand this, you are all right. There is no problem. The moment you know who you are, the problem is solved. There may be more work to do and training to take, but the block will unblock, and a new flow will energize your life. Yeah, this is so very important, and so many just don't understand what it says. The moment you know who you are, the problem is solved. There may be more work to do and training to take, but the block will unblock and a new flow will energize your life. When you understand who and what you are, your radiance projects into the universal radiance, and everything around you becomes creative and full of opportunity and help. This confirmed relationship of responsiveness in consciousness between the finite self and the infinite self is the gift of Kundalini. The confined relationship of responsiveness is in consciousness between the finite self and the infinite self is the gift of Kundalini. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Sometimes when you discover things, you really want other people to see and hear and understand. Obviously, but there is a lot that I don't see and understand. So whatever, but still, you can't make it happen. You just have to do what you can do. The relationship of consciousness to the infinite consciousness is the one fundamental requirement of life and the aim of yoga. What does it mean to understand? A real understanding is a pattern of behavior. What is a pattern of behavior? It is the rate of frequency and the degree of radiance of the psyche and the magnetic field in relationship to the universal psyche and the universal magnetic force. If you can relate with that universal radiance, so the beam and frequency of your projection is strong and clear, then you have communicated with the universe. It will respond and support you, just as a happy father will support his son, his creation. Or some won't. Anyways, you must rise above your finite attachment, fear, and conflict and project at the frequency of a being with an unlimited identity in the infinite. Yes. If you are in any conflict and pressure, if you relate to the infinite on the terms of the infinite as an established behavior, it will always forgive, respond, and support your righteous intentions. Yeah, that's what spirits always do. Guides you have and so. Yeah. The ability to align yourself with a higher consciousness and to radiate into the universal magnetic field is more important than any qualification and speciality to your success. The elementary awareness of Kundalini Yoga is to remove inner conflict and radiate in order to be happy. The basic unit that composes your experience is equal to your radiance plus your activity. The radiance, I just laugh at it all. I giggle about this all, trying to really put it into words, or like almost mathematics. The radiance is the mind, and the activity is the gross physical. Yeah, let me express this in the mystical sense. When the soul opens up to the heart, a human being becomes divine. Express it any way you like. A person must understand his existence in relationship to the total universe. Whosoever understands this knows a deep truth. The whole world around you will become beautiful if you understand that you are you. In all facets of your life, simply remember you are you. Think of the mantra, I am, I am. Kundalini Yoga is a very natural element that rapidly makes you what you already are and brings you to the practical experience of infinity. Yeah, Kundalini Yoga rapidly makes you what you already are and brings you to the practical experience of infinity. Question. Is it true that some people are suited to Kundalini Yoga by birth, genetics, and temperament, and others are not, no matter how much they may try? The thing is, I don't have read his answer yet, but when it comes to other things like mediumship and stuff, or other things that I do, the thing is, you wouldn't be drawn to it if you hadn't the capacity. That's the thing. People, I mean, everyone have the capacity, but I mean, That's the reason you aren't. Someone who really, really wants it obviously have it in them. Otherwise, they wouldn't want it. So, yeah, anyway. Answer. Kundalini yoga is the yoga of awareness. There is no human without the inborn temperament for awareness. Some have higher blocks to it, some have lower blocks. With some, it takes a long time to break these blocks. With other, it is quick. That is the only difference. It is a question of time, just as someone prefers to go from New York to Los Angeles in an airplane or on donkey, both will arrive. It is a question of time. Wow. In yoga, this is how it is 12 years of Hatha Yoga, plus 6 years of Raja Yoga, plus 3 years of Mantra Yoga, plus 1 year of Laya Yoga is equal to the effect of just 1 complete year of Kundalini Yoga. Wow, have you heard this? Wow, I really believe this fully. Must say it again. I repeat stuff all the time. I want to understand. In yoga, this is how it is 12 years of Hatha Yoga, plus 6 years of Raja Yoga, plus 3 years, plus, I mean, this is not only 3 years of Mantra Yoga, plus 1 year of Laya Yoga. Those all together is equal to the effect of just 1 complete year of Kundalini Yoga. I have not written this, so don't blame me. It is in the yogic scriptures. It is a matter of choice. The difficulty is that Kundalini Yoga cannot be learned without a teacher. It cannot be learned from books. It is the psyche of the teacher who teaches it. And that is why it is called the path of gold or golden chain, because it passes from one person to the next like a chain. All the teachers are linked by consciousness. The moment you tune into the teacher's psyche, your psyche will protect the surroundings. And the one that teaches me is so wonderful, and I'm so happy she does. I mean, the person that guides me through these teachings now, but also the golden chain back to him. Anyways, I won't go into her too much. It is my personal belief that that there are certain souls which have to study from certain other souls. They have earned that destiny. The contact of the psychomagnetic field is already arranged. Once in a life, each soul must come across the orbit of that soul from whom he has the opportunity to learn. It is a law of consciousness. By the virtue of your previous incarnation, you always meet your teacher. Wow. Either you surrender your ego to the teacher or you run away from him. The law is that you will meet the opportunity, not that you will recognize it or sustain a commitment to it. Wow. More questions on the Kundalini from the interview can be found in the yogic anatomy section. Wow. Anyways, I love all the teachers I've had, and they have shared so freely and so with me. So also mostly without charge. So yeah. Anyways, I want to give also that way, but I also feel with the Kundalini as well as with Munaki and so on, I kind of knew this was my path. I didn't know when exactly, I haven't practiced this for a while, sadly, but I also feel that it's something that came directly to me. I mean, I feel that no matter if I was taught by a person, although I'm really, really grateful and happy I am, I feel that this chain is given to me from, right, spiritually, as well as with the Munaki. Although I've had those initiations and those practices given to me by humans, people as well. I feel also Pachamama herself and those angels, as they are called, those energies you work with, and totems and so on, they themselves have given it to me already. So yeah. Anyways, I don't feel it. That's real. I mean, that's experienced from meeting them. All right. Kundalini yoga. The choice is yours. I wonder what kind of previous lives I've had with this person who teach this to me. Okay, I will just read a little bit more. Then I have to get myself ready to meet a little person, a 5-year-old one. Oh, right. Let's see. Kundalini Yoga. The choice is yours. Kundalini Yoga presents us with an image of the human being, an individual who has, as a core, a shining soul, with a consciousness that is luminous and which carries the experiences of God. That soul is shrouded in our personal karmas. The karmas are that's like the petals hiding of the lotus, hiding the jewel kind of thing. The karmas are the results of choices and attachments and come from actions that are not done in the carefree service and rhythm of the totality of consciousness. Wow, the words, right? The karmas have come from fear and from identifying with the finite self and the ego. Because you have a will which has freedom, you make choices and are allowed to get as shrouded and dirty as you like, as we sometimes like, yeah. Also testing the the polarity, I think we do, to learn and to experience. Out of compassion, you always have some opportunity to be shaken and penetrated by a teacher or teaching. You may stay for the shaking, or you may choose to run and create more commotion for yourself. All teachings lead to the same realization and awakening of your potential. But some shaking is efficient and fast, and others are very slow. Kundalini Yoga also, now I constantly relate to the Munaki, but that is also a very fast way, in a different way though. But Kundalini Yoga and the psyche that teaches it is direct and royal. Those who have the blessing to practice it and teach it choose to stand before the crystal of their consciousness. Under great pressure washes to remove the clouds of past acts, in order to reside now in the timeless beauty of the soul. Wow. Everyone has that core potential. So everyone is capable of Kundalini Yoga. But their own past choices may limit them and make such transformations of the self inappropriate for them. Those who will come to be taught by you who already have the momentum within. Okay. Those will come to be taught by you who already have the momentum within them to be given a choice to move toward higher consciousness. It is that horizon you remind them of in every possible way. They must confront it. They must do the discipline. You cannot be a rescuer or take control of their life. You are part of a much greater show. Just do your part well. Wow, this is also so beautiful, related to many, like becoming like exhausted or codependent or whatever words you can use for that. But they must confront it. I know someone I really would love to help. I mean, lots of people, but anyways, close also. They must confront it. They must do the discipline. You cannot be a rescuer or take control of their life, and it's not good to do. Then you become an oppressioner, oppress them. You are part of a much greater show. Just do your part well. As, I mean, sometimes we have enough to work with ourselves, don't we? As well as in the whole scale of things, it's the path even that goes wrong is right eventually. But yeah, that's how we learn. Anyway, the first qualification for Kundalini Yoga, I will just read this page, then I will pause for now. The first qualification for Kundalini Yoga is that you seek that awareness that is moment to moment. We do not get rid of the ego or deny anything that is in us. We explode the ego by guiding it to the universal. That's the most beautiful thing I've heard. Because I've heard those who kill the ego and all kinds of things, because that's like a personality, and egotism is something else. But that's really a good description, because it explodes it. It just it still exists as a concept of the mind, but it's like it's not needed anymore because you're greater than that. You don't need to identify with that pattern of thoughts. We explode the ego by guiding it to the universal. Wow. And to rest in this universal instead of the fear or the littleness or of the ego. That's so awesome. And to know that we are not in the what is the word for this? There is no one else that need to, as I said before, the absolute is not. It's in our own hands. We rest in our own love, in a way. Do you understand? Anyway, I'm moving on. We will not sit and beg softly that we may someday find God. We will make ourselves so strong and pure that God must come to look for us and look after us. Yeah, which is ourselves as well, doing so. God already has your number. Let him look you up. Oh, I love this so much. If you can fall in love with the teaching, I do with this. Kundalini yoga cannot, I mean, the energy of Kundalini yoga is such as well. It's not dry. It's like happily blissful, yeah? Kundalini yoga cannot be practiced without a love for the teacher. It cannot even be taught without that. Man must be sustained through the flow, which is the infinite power. The yams and niyams are up to you. The other 6 stages of the divine science, asana, pranayam, dharma, etc., are all taken care of in the Kundalini Yoga Kriya. The yams and niyams are up to you. Have you described what that is? Even I don't know. We are tapping through consciousness to the supreme consciousness. This is not a subconscious process. We will not distract you with tricks, miracles, and denials. This is the yoga of fulfillment. Yogi Bhajan, 1971. Yeah, and there are also many paths you can that you could work with to some degree or for some reason, but sometimes they still keep you stuck in some pattern or in your littleness or in dependence or it doesn't take you further. It just stops you at that stage kind of thing, which is where you probably need to be at the time still. But I mean, yeah, I totally get this. And everything can be used as a tool forward. As I think he described it here before also about the consciousness. That's what passes on, even whatever you do, whether it's the medicine wheel, whether it's in tarot, whether it's the process of it is very much the process of the intent of the one who gives it. That consciousness is passed forward, Anyways, commentary. This yoga tradition is the road of Raj Yoga. It is a direct link and path to the supreme consciousness in us. It is not a detour through all the fascinations of the subconscious and the temptations of the ego. That's many of the detours I've done, but also found so many treasures there that are useful if you have a greater perspective or greater awareness. Yeah, then they can also be used as lovely tools forward. Yeah. But my understanding, I love the description here. We accept all of the creation around us and all of the creation within us. The first qualification for a student is to stop fighting shadows and focus the mind and energy on the infinite. How awesome this seems to me. I am I'm a lover of fighting shadow. No, not really, but yeah, wow, this is so much needed. The dispersion forces of the lower chakras create much pain and pull us apart if we just concentrate there. We can call that process anything we like: forces, Satan, confused thought, or bad habits. The uniting forces of the higher chakras create a lot of pleasure and carefreeness. Call them angels, higher energy, or clear thoughts. Yeah, it also differs in various traditions. We are beyond all this and yet contain all this. Yeah, this is so lovely. I can't even describe how much this is like good food to me, or I mean nourishment. There is a huge dynamic in the center of the mechanism of creation of which we are a part. Start by cultivating an awareness of what already exists within and connect that with God. However, whatever word you want to use for that, some people don't really love that word. God, I mean. Gain a sense of sacredness and nobility that makes you a beloved of the Creator. That could be like a step. Act as a channel for teachings that elevate pain and bring grace. Oh, yeah, sometimes I work in the harsh, darker dimensions. Not like in a mean way, but yeah, denser work, which I also love somewhat. So, but I think this is, yeah, the beauty way in a way. Even one Kriya in Kundalini Yoga will put you through all the stages of movement, breathing, connection, concentration, and linking. In that moment, when your energy is elevated and love is possible, reach out like an open lotus to the inner sun. Oh, I have to read that again. Just even one Kriya in Kundalini Yoga will put you through all the stages of movement, breathing, concentration, and linking. In that moment, when your energy is elevated and love is possible, reach out like an open lotus to the inner sun. Kundalini rising, Kardi Kala 1. Chanting Vaheguru, the Kundalini rises. Taking Amrit, the Kundalini rises. Meditating on the name, the Kundalini rises. Singing God's praise, the Kundalini rises. Doing yoga, the Kundalini rises. Fixing the concentration, the Kundalini rises. When the Kundalini awakens, it rises. Chanting Hari Har, Hari Har becomes one with God. The radiance of God and Guru fills every pore and cell of the body. Shardi Kala, I think it's it. It's the seat of the prana. Shardi Kala is the source of all good. Oh, Bhajan, what are you looking for? God is standing right in front of you. Shardi Kala is Kundalini Yoga. Merge with God through His name. Practice the yoga of Shardi Kala. Become Khalsa and attain the infinite. Shardi Kala is the name's meditation. O Yogi, this is the sacred knowledge of devotion to God. Yoga Bhajan from Furman Khalsa, Poems to Live By. Amrit means nectar. Oh, I just wondered, taking nectar, the Kundalini rises. In this case, it refers to receiving the ceremonial baptism in the Sikh faith. All right. Okay. Anyway, so I'm done with this now then. God, this is so much. Right. And yeah, it really pokes the eyes of some people I know, because many people I know are pretty stuck in certain traditions, which I'm a more free-flowing person. And that means that this won't match well. I mean, the wordings won't match well with certain practices they do. So it will like, what? Becomes like a disturbing for them, for example, to hear me enjoying this so much, because they don't see through the words. They don't see what I see in it, as well as with other practices. Others who love this that won't see through what I see in other things. So, but then again, it's not my problem, really. Yeah. Oh, so lovely. I'm so happy that I read through a little bit more now. I have to digest it, comprehend it. But it really matches where I am at, the things I start to understand, which I absolutely did not when I started practice this. And I therefore can hear how you can also misinterpret the words. I mean, I can understand how I heard these words before from a more, let's say, from a less aware perspective than I do now. And that, yeah, whatever. I'm tired now to speak. Wow, I will have to go. Oh, there is so much I want to say, but yeah, I will just let this sink in me and hopefully also somewhat in you. Maybe if I upload it for a little while, maybe I will just not have this up later on, just keep it for a little while. I think it was so messily described, right? I kind of pushed through this. Yeah, I want to go out now and buy something to use as a turban on my head because of that. Yeah, I really want to. It makes some even more sense than before now. I always loved it, but it seemed complicated to use them sometimes, I feel. But you can do the best you can for a while until you understand how you can do it better, I guess. But just something, it will feel really good. So I think I must do that to remind myself of the purpose of that. Well, bye for now. And yeah, much love to each and every one of you.